So, lone rider here. Decided to take a break while I was out doing some errands on my bike, and just taking a shortcut through this path through the woods here to get home. And one of the things I've been thinking about a lot lately is the issue of cyclists and how we're perceived. And there tends to be a belief, rightly or wrongly, that a lot of cyclists are to the far left, quote unquote. This does a disservice to cyclists because they hail from all over the political spectrum, and certainly, just because I ride a bike, I shouldn't be judged on what somebody else may or may not believe or say or has done. I think, to some degree, these kind of stereotypes are human nature. Look at racism, for example. I think the reason it's stuck around as long as it has is there's a tendency on the part of people to just lump things into groups. And certainly that's bad. Definitely with racism it's bad. I would argue with other groups of people too it's bad. And there's a negative consequence to it, which is that not just for the people who are thus categorized, but for everybody else, because cyclists, like I said, hail from all over the political spectrum, and yes, there may be some cyclists who are far left wackadoodles and you shouldn't listen to what they have to say, but there are also plenty of cyclists like myself who, I believe are more open-minded and may actually have some good ideas to offer. And if we all get put in the same category as, Occupy Wall Street, for example, or something like that, something extreme, you're going to miss out on some of the ideas that some cyclists may have, which are some observations they may have about society, which could be about relatively mundane things like roadway safety, an issue that's of particular interest to cyclists for obvious reasons, or could be on other issues that don't even bear on cycling, not even tangentially. For example, a cyclist might have, good ideas about tax policy or economic policy or environmental policy or foreign policy or, the fairness or unfairness of a particular proposed law or proposal or even just philosophical trend in the culture. And the fact that, some cyclists might be wackos, that's like saying, some gun owners are really far-right extremists. So does that mean that you should never listen to anything a gun owner has to say in terms of politics or ideas? No. They might have plenty of things to say, and not just on the issue of gun control, for example. To me, I think a lot of cyclists actually encourage this, which is unfortunate. In addition to the tendency of human beings to stereotype, I think you have the fact that a lot of the loudest and most vocal cyclists tend to be those that go to the extreme. So you'll have, some particularly far left cyclists that want to make themselves the face of cycling. If you ride a bike, this is what you are. And we saw that with the bike shop owner out west, for example. This was reported on in several bicycling website articles, and also in the New York Post of all things, where there were several bike shops out west where I think Oregon was one of the places where the people were saying they were going to boycott a company that makes things like bike helmets and child seats because it's owned by a holding company that also has something to do with making sporting firearms. And my take on this is, well, great example of tolerance. You want to protect your sport, namely cycling, but you want to completely demonize and shut down somebody else's. They actually went so far as to use phrases like when the guy said he found out that the bike company was making sporting equipment for the shooting sports, he tossed around phrases like he'd been inadvertently supporting an industry of terror. When I hear that a company makes equipment for the shooting sports in addition to cycling, I don't think an industry of terror. I think good for them. They're branching out, doing more than one thing. But then again, when I think of shooting, I don't usually think of terror or crime or violence. I usually think of people having fun and enjoying an activity of their choice. I'm cognizant of the fact that there's an element of crime and violence when you discuss shooting, but that's not the first thing that comes to my mind, and it's not the be-all and end-all of it. I have a more balanced view. These people don't. And when they make themselves the face of cycling, in fact, I heard one person in particular commenting on the article, trying to justify the either or when people like myself. Sorry about that, the wind blew the camera over. I have it propped up on the bike seat. Let me try and, there we go, let me try and redo that. Okay. When people like myself wrote in to address the issue of, you know, hey, some of the, I know you want to vilify the shooting sports, but some of those people might even be other cyclists. These people wrote in and basically said, well, any view that supports the shooting sports is incompatible with cycling. Again, who are you to speak for cyclists? And all you basically end up doing is marginalizing cycling from the rest of the country by making us all look like a bunch of far-left wackos. We're not, all right? So, you know, stereotypes, even the stereotypes inadvertently created by other cyclists, they have no place. And those guys should really sit down and, you know, think for a second before, I mean, realize, think about what you're doing. You're casting us all in one mold, and that's not good. So, just some thoughts about cycling and how cyclists present themselves, and we really need to do a better job, especially on, you know, we can all agree things like road safety matter, trail access matters, things like that. When we get into political issues where people all have different ideas of what's right, what's wrong, and what's effective and what's not, we need to not all lump ourselves into one category, put all our eggs in one ideological basket, because what if it's the wrong basket, right? And even if it's not, you know, you've done, so as far as these people are concerned, say, well, this view is incompatible with cycling. Having tolerance towards the shooting sports is incompatible with cycling. So does that mean I'm not a cyclist? A guy who's been hit by cars 3 times just for riding his bike? A guy who's been a cyclist for 20 years, probably longer than some of these yuppies have been alive? A person who spent 3 years working on mountain bike access and watching reservation and doing a bunch of other stuff to advocate for cyclists on and off the road, who you know, basically you know, has spent a good portion of his life fighting for this sport or activity or way of life, whatever you want to call it, because I'm a cyclist and I care about cycling. So my views aren't compatible with cycling now. You know, thanks a lot. I mean, that's like the very definition of intolerance. So, you know, guys like that need to do a better job on how they're presenting cycling. Well, rider out.